I do to study IGTV, so thanks for watching. I've been getting a ton of comments, messages, everything on what did I think of it, what did I do to study. You guys are telling me you're nervous and you are scared, and I was literally you yesterday. What I did was I studied for 2 weeks. My first week I studied kind of trying to get into a good rhythm, and then for sure my second week I completely found my rhythm and I was ready, and days leading up to it I just honestly wanted to get it over with. I was so stressed. It was hard for me to sleep at night. I woke up one day, I was super nauseous, I had a crazy headache, and just the stress and studying so much, and like you're going over the same material and you're kind of like, what else do I need to study? I feel like I've studied all of it, and I was doing practice tests on the computer a lot, so I'm staring at a computer screen, and I'm sure you're in the same boat or might be soon. So I'm just so happy and relieved to be certified. I know that I still need to do my ClinSims, and I want to be a registered respiratory therapist, and in California I have to be, but it's just super cool to say that I'm a certified respiratory therapist. I got my email today saying congratulations, you're certified, so it's just crazy that like I could technically practice respiratory, you know? But yeah, so what did I do to study? My school, we took the Kettering seminar. For those of you who aren't sure if you should take it, when I was in clinic, I would ask my preceptors, what did they think of the Kettering seminar? Did they think it was necessary? And I remember asking, everybody said that that you should take it, by the way. And I remember asking, is it a review of the program? Is it more like how to take the test? And everyone said that it's not a review, it's just how to pass the exam. So when I went into Kettering, I was kind of disappointed because it's not really choose this answer, here's some practice questions. It is kind of a review of your program, or at least for me it was. Every instructor is different, but for my instructor, it's a review of what you were taught in the program, which is good because you don't remember everything you were taught, and it's a great reminder. But like one of my classmates told the instructor, like, when are we going to move on from sizes of ET tubes? Like, this is so basic, So there are moments of where you're like, this, and you're like, I paid for this, talking about this for an hour, 2 hours. But I think the best thing that comes out of the Kettering seminar are definitely the books that they give you. So this is the study guide book. And what I did is I labeled it so I can easily find some certain sections, such as formulas, hemodynamics, chest x-ray interpretations, mechanical ventilation. And there's also a workbook for the TMC. The workbook is basically the study guide, but it will have like blank spaces for you to fill in. And to me, I did not like that because you're kind of like not sure if that's the right answer. So what I recommend doing is opening up the study guide to, let's say, page 10, and then open up the workbook to page 10, and it correlates. So you can follow along, and you can basically like copy in your own words what you're seeing and follow along with the answers like that, so you know that you're doing the right thing, and then also you're writing it, so it's memory retention. To me, I personally didn't really like the workbook. I did do a few sections of it, but I mainly focused on the study guide. What else I did was I would take notes in a notebook, and like there's auto peep, what are the different things to do? Make sure you know, because that's on the TMC, on my version at least. And then like, pulmonary edema, what does that look like on a chest x-ray? So I would just like write different things, like the Heliox equation. I wrote it down. Some things that were on my TMC definitely a heliox equation, tons of static compliance. Make sure you know the formula, make sure you know what to change on the vent. I had a lot of the static compliance is increased, what are you going to change to fix it? And the PIP is increased, static compliance is normal, what's the issue? I had a ton of trait questions. I talked to my friends and they did not have a ton of trait questions, so every version is definitely different, but that threw me for a loop. I hardly studied any trach things, and in clinic I had very little trach experience, so I was taking this test like, I am gonna fail this. I'm totally like educated guessing this. Definitely like 20 questions in, I was like, I at least guessed on 10, so there goes 10. Like, this is not looking good, you know? It was definitely scary and it was hard. Okay, back to what I did to study. I did the NBRC free practice test at least 5 different times. It really gets you in a groove of knowing what to expect and how the test is laid out, but the answers are so much easier on the practice exam. It's like, oh, you could rule this out, rule this out, rule this out. Or it's like, oh, it's clearly this. On the TMC, it's not clearly that. And the answers are not as easy as they are in the practice. They were definitely really hard. I had no idea that these were gonna be on there, but I had a lot of multiple truths, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the answers are 1, 2, and 3, 2, 3, and 4, 1, 2, and 4, 3, 2. I hated those in class, and I did not know they were going to be on the TMC, so expect to see those. What else I did to study was I did the free practice test on respiratory therapy zone, and I did the free practice test on Kettering, their website. Personally, I did not like the TMC practice test on Kettering's website. I thought the layout and the way that it was written was not on par to the NBRC free practice exam. And I personally just don't recommend it, but you can take it because the more practice is the more practice. Yeah, that's all I kind of did to study. I did the Kettering study guide. I took my own notes. And I did a ton of free practice tests, a ton. I did not pay for any because we paid for the $70 NBRC practice tests in class, and I did not want to do that again. And as a broke college student, I'm sure you do not want to do that. But, you know, whatever floats your boat. I think that there is no like specific way to do things. Some people say that they take the test ASAP. Some people need a break. If you need a break, that is totally on you. Take a break. You don't want to be mentally exhausted, because I was mentally exhausted studying. So if you're already mentally exhausted after graduating and you're just stressed, go on that vacation. You know, do things on your own time. I definitely don't recommend like taking 2 months to take your TMC, but definitely, you know, do what works for you. You know your study techniques best. You know yourself best. It's a scary thing and it's very nerve-wracking, and you might feel like you're like doing bad the whole time. Halfway through, what I did is I took a break, I went pee, I talked myself in the mirror up, and I was like, you got this, you can do this, just relax, and you know, just have faith in yourself and in your knowledge. You know, I think we are all a lot smarter than we give ourselves credit for. But yeah, it was definitely scary and nerve-wracking, and I was like shaking when she handed me my paper. I like looked at it and it was like passed. Like I passed, you know, the CRT and the RRT, so I could move on to the ClinSims. And I was like, oh my gosh, I am so relieved. And I took it with my friend Haley, and she was waiting, and she did her ClinSims, and I was like, oh my god, I hope she passed, because I passed, and I want us both to be happy, and we both passed, so it was awesome. Yeah, those are kind of all my study tips. Just do a lot of practice tests. If you have the Kettering study guide, I highly recommend it. And take your own notes, and yeah, just read the whole study guide. Go all the way through. There's a lot of material, but don't get overwhelmed. Just take one thing at a time and move on when you feel ready, and definitely study things that you're not so confident in.